Okay, let's work on extruding the arm, and you can see I've got inside of here a symbol called forearm, so it's got all of our forearm stuff. And what I'm going to do is break this apart. There's part of my problem. Let me actually, before I break everything apart, I'm going to distribute it to layers, and so you can see everything's just kind of separated like so. Then I'm going to break it apart, and yeah, that's the issue. Before I did this 1 minute ago, and it kind of made this all ragged over here. So let's see if distributing it to layers first helps me out a little bit with that issue. And hey, look at that, I kind of forgot about all of our arm stuff underneath there. Okay, well, now it did that thing again. Now that is very odd. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I see what the problem is. Just had some leftover line data. Okay. Alright, and I'll just put that together. Alright, so first task, let's go and put my favorite little thing, these blue outlines, set it to hairline, and just put them all over the place. And then let's build from there. Okay, I'm going to minimize the layers we do have and then just work on one up above for right now. Kind of sketch this thing in. I think one obvious thing would be to pull this down like so. It just feels like there should be a plane kind of like right there. And then with that in mind, let's go ahead and do something similar with this. And what I'm going to do is kind of leave this nice little path right along there. And then let's go ahead and take this line. This kind of seems like an obvious one too, to just sort of bring that back over to there. But I might actually end it right here. And of course, because I'm working on this layer above, it's not merging with those shapes. So I'll go ahead and put them down onto the same layer for now. Now I've got them in there. And it feels like this should probably be... Well, I don't know. I was going to say that this line should parallel with that one, but what the heck? Let's leave it as it is. You can always fix it later. All right, and we're working on this layer now. Let's go. Well, I didn't mean to put a fill color in there, but it's not far off from what we'd probably use anyway. So let's go ahead and just leave it in for right now, and just put in another plate right here. Actually, I will get rid of that because what I want to do is bump this out and then connect these lines. Turn snap on. There we go. Okay, and then while we're up here, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more just to be sure I get this right. I'm going to continue these lines. So let me just put them in there for right now and connect to that, connect to that. Okay. Gonna put a line right across here. Just do something like this. Okay, now I'm just panning back here to see if I think that's big enough. Yeah, just kind of a little connection right there. It looks like this line, or these lines here, should parallel with this piece, which is pretty easy to do. We can just kind of tilt that like so. And then let's make kind of a divot inside of this shape. What I mean by that is I'm just going to kind of carve out a little something like this. And I'll show just a little side of that plane, but I think I'm going to take it all the way down to a point right down there. Okay. And so far I've kind of neglected whatever this thing is over here, but let's fancy it up a little bit. I'm going to try deleting a bit out of it and just do something like this. Let's sharpen a bit toward the end. Yeah, that's fine. All I'm considering here is just kind of how sharp I want that to be. I think that'll work. Yeah, that looks kind of deadly, doesn't it? If you want, you could always do our little circle trick and put a circle across things like so, and then sharpen it even further. Oops, don't want to take all the lines out. Because gosh, if that was like a hook, whew, that would be pretty nasty to get slashed with that. Okay, and well, let's go ahead and put some color into this, and then we'll see where we're at. So I'm going to take all the lines that we do have, just put them all into one single layer, and let's begin filling this in. So this will be kind of obvious. It's going to be a little darker there, a little darker, even darker right over here, and darkest. Okay, this interior part, let's see if we can get away with leaving that black, and then fill that in. Oh, whoops, that should be probably lighter. Not that light, maybe. Let's use that same color right here, and I should have connected this to this earlier. Okay, and this plane is kind of facing the same way as that one, so we should match those up. And that's kind of true for that too, but because it's a little further back, I think probably we'll go with this one and then sample that for right there. All right, now let's worry about these little planes. Okay, and this is facing the same way as that, pretty much. So let's use that as our starting color there. Don't need this. That one might be a little too light. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's put some color back on the kind of blade of death over here. Let's see, what should we go with? Well, could try that little metallic color that we've not used too much. Although it's funny that I thought this was going to be a very different color than it turned out to be, because this is essentially the same color as this mid-range yellow over here. So let's see. I don't know. We can just leave it as is for right now. All right, let's take all of our lines, and of course we can just select them like this. And let me kind of inspect a few of them. I knew I did this when I was laying that line in there. I should have connected it to that. All right, get rid of this. Okay, let's take these down to 10 or 20%, so we don't see them too clearly. I'll leave them in there for right now, though. And let's take a look at it. Kind of forgot it. It took me by surprise. I kind of forgot that I had that little red part right there. Okay, this is feeling just a tad too dark. And this is feeling just a tad too light. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. And it's definitely screaming for some textures and more lines and stuff like that. But I think as far as just extruding it goes, that is just about perfect. So we'll leave that as is. Okay, let's jump down to the hand and see what we can do with this guy. All right, same deal. Boom, boom. Putting some lines. Let's just knock that down to about 80%. And I'll leave a little bit of a plane down here. Let me straighten this out just a little bit, though. I didn't notice that before, that line was not exactly straight. Okay, so let's connect that to that, that to that. Bring this over here, bring that over here. And that's not exactly the most perfect line either, is it? Okay, once we've done this, let's just go ahead and fill in that color there. Get rid of that. That actually kind of looks good, but make that a little brighter. And as for this, let's just step the brightness down here, here, here. Hey, what's going on? I have closed small gap set, and that sometimes puts that weird little kind of half fill in there on the shape. Oh, maybe I'll make that a little bit darker. There we go. Got the whole thing that time. Okay, now what to do about these cheese ball fingers that I've got here. I think the best move is to maybe just take each one of them. I'm gonna put them on a different layer for right now, and I'm gonna go over here to shape, expand fill. I'm actually gonna inset these by about 5 pixels and see what happens. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to happen, and then I'll just plump them up from this point on. So I'm gonna copy all that and put it right within here. In fact, this layer with that hand I'm gonna just put above everything else, and I'll just lock it for right now. In fact, I'll even make it invisible so I don't have to think about it. Alright, so move these down, and you guessed it, we're just gonna connect these guys up. This might be one of those spots that if someone magnified it, it's not gonna look that impressive, but I think from a distance it can still look okay. So I'll go ahead and fill in, oh, merge these together. And don't forget this guy. Okay, let's just fill in everything with the same color for now. Get rid of what we don't need. And let's see. Yeah, I mean that even in outline mode that looks a little bit better. But let's go ahead and do some better shading. All right, so that's the base color. Looks like we can go make that a bit darker. We could probably make this plane a little bit lighter since it is facing out kind of that way. And same thing would probably be true for this one, this one, and that. Okay, let's check it without the lines. Let me go ahead and, or I should say, with the lines made very dark and alphaed out. Yep, I mean it's getting there. And then I guess I can kind of keep that same vague dark, or whatever this is, kind of the silhouette of the hand. I'm going to make it not pure black though. And then let's just bring some of this together so it makes a bit more sense. So this is there would be like a knuckle here, I guess, and then split the finger about that point. Bring that over here, bring this more over here. This would probably come up just a little bit. And you could do, yeah, I think you could get away with some little kind of separations like that. And obviously another thing we could do is just put in lots of, you know, kind of like hoses and stuff like that to indicate that, I don't know, they aid in moving the fingers around. This I'm just gonna kind of bring together like that, and maybe I'll do one other separation, or you know, extrusion. So something like this. Not sure those are actually connected together. Snap is great when you need it. Oh, same color. Okay. And I might just make this a little bit thinner, or yeah. Something like that. Okay. Let's do this. Let's take a little bit out of this shape too. Just do some kind of weird negations like that. But I think at a distance, yeah, I think that works. Okay. Alright, last thing I would do here is just bring this up some. I think wasn't making too much sense having that go down like it was. Alright, I might actually play around with making this black again too. Just so if we do put a bunch of hoses and things like that in there, we could just kind of rely on the silhouette. But yeah, I think that, no, I mean, I think it's better than it was before. That's for sure. Okay, we'll come back with more in a little bit.